Like this,
like
so
this.
you get it closer.
Okay, got it.
That's
Okay,
it.
cool.
That's it.
Cool. This is intense. All right. Let's do it. Let's do it.
Yeah. We really.
Oh, when does this air? When does this go on? When do you put it up?
Monday.
Monday?
No,
Okay,
Monday
great.
on Thursday.
Thursday? Okay,
Yes.
great.
Thursday. Yeah,
Great.
Thursday. It's going on Thursday. We do Monday and Thursday.
Great.
So, Judah.
Are we rolling?
Friedlander, Yeah.
We're doing it.
Yeah, we are doing it.
Cool.
Yes.
We've actually been talking about you on this podcast
A lot.
because, a lot. I mean, this is why it's actually amazing for us to have you here, because we saw your special on Netflix.
Yeah.
And
I saw it too.
and
Yeah. I also watched it.
how was it?
Yeah. It was okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's all right.
We actually
Number one.
And then we found out your name when we saw that.
Yeah. Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
So that was.
We actually said it was the best 2017 special. Really.
No.
We have proof. We have
Yes,
proof.
yes.
We have it on
Yeah.
record.
So
I
for
want
only
also. Yeah.
$400, you can.
Let me tell you something. You guys are all winners. You
Yeah.
guys are winners. You're correct. Your
Yes.
insight is on point.
Yeah.
Correct analysis. Well done. No, that's very much appreciated. Thanks, man. Yeah, you know, when I made it, first of all, I made it myself.
Yeah.
And I didn't have a deal in place. I just, I decided, you know, I started doing stand-up in 1989. And the first 2 years.
1989.
Yeah, I'm old. Yeah, I'm old.
Okay.
And so, yeah, 1989 I started when I was 19. And the first couple years, I didn't do it all that often. Like I don't know how it works here, but in the U.S., generally, you perform every night, or at least 5 or 6 nights a week. And in New York, you're usually doing, 1 to 3 or 4 sets a night.
Like on
Some people do less.
different
Different clubs, and
yeah.
some clubs will have 2 shows or 3 shows in one night. And it's short sets. It's generally
Yeah,
10 to
5
20 minute long sets. Now, when I headline, whether it's in New York or I travel anywhere, I generally do 60 minutes or longer for my shows. So I had never put out a stand-up special before or an album. I probably should have already had 5 or 7 out by now, but I've turned them down over the years because I didn't like, there was always some kind of creative restrictions, whether certain words you couldn't say or certain topics you couldn't talk about.
That's from networks.
Yeah, from like Comedy Central would have that.
Yeah.
And then legally, I never really liked their contracts. They would often say like, okay, not only would they own that film performance, they would own all your words.
Oh, okay.
So I'm like, no, you can't buy what I wrote.
It's like Pro TV from our perspective.
Okay.
Pro
Yeah.
TV, it's
Why?
like,
So it's like,
Why?
no, you don't get to own my words and my thoughts.
yeah, it has a very.
So I would just say, nope, not doing it.
They would actually own your material.
Yes. That's how the contracts would often be. And over the years, they've gotten a little bit better. They're still not great. But, and then with the internet, things have gotten a little bit better. So I decided, okay, I have to make this on my own, because if I told, I'm sure if I told Netflix what I wanted to talk about and I wanted to film it in black and white with little cameras, I'm sure they would have said no, So I had to film it myself, and I filmed it. I had to learn. I mean, I used to do filmmaking when I was younger and stuff, but I still had a lot to learn. I was filming my sets almost every night for about a year.
Yeah.
And then I finally sort of figured out a way to, okay, here's a good spot to put the camera. Here's a good way for the person to hold it and good style for them to film it in. And then so some of it was filmed in 2016. Most of it was filmed over various nights from January 2017 to May 2017.
Cellar?
At the
or
Comedy
Cellar.
Cellar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cellar, yeah.
And they have 3 rooms now. Most of it is filmed. Yeah, the original room seats about 125. Their newer room seats about 225, and then their newest room, which is a real little one, is seats about 80, I think, maybe 90.
In the same building?
Yeah, one is on. It's right in Greenwich Village. So one is on. It's called McDougal Street, and literally you walk, I don't know, 45 seconds around the corner, and the other two clubs are in the same place. One's upstairs, one's downstairs.
We've been there in 2008, and we saw.
Okay, then.
Yes, 2008.
Back then it was just one room, and that
Yeah,
was
it
the
was
Comedy
one room,
Cellar.
and when we
Yeah.
saw Louis C.K. and the other guys.
He did a spot here. At the
Yeah,
Louis
we
CK.
got to see Louis C.K. and Robert Kelly and
Sure. Yeah.
really nice night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I mean, that's kind of the main.
But
It's definitely the main club in New York,
is it
and
is
it's
it very touristy? Because I saw you had the people from Germany, from Sweden.
It is. It is. It's a mix of, depending on what time you go to the show, you're going to get more tourists than others. Like they usually do during the week, 3 shows a night at the Comedy Cellar Original Room. So I think often on the early show, their 7:30 show, they get more tourists, and as it goes later, they get more local people.
But do you like? I mean, I saw you had the crowd work was really nice.
I like it, yeah, because I
but
like
the other
talking
comedians-
about I like talking about world issues, human rights issues. Obviously, I mean, we're talking kind of seriously now, but I do it in a funny way and with satire and jokes and crowd work.
Jokes
So
are really important to stand up.
yeah, it's amazing. No, but seriously,
It's a
it's
new
amazing.
concept.
You know, you watch a lot of stand-up specials out there. It's amazing how. A lot of comics seem to not have any jokes. You know, it's just they're talking a lot and moving a lot,
and
but
you
there's
haven't
not a lot
seen
of
my
jokes.
act yet.
Yeah.
You
So
should
I know
see-
that's it. Yeah, we should tell people. Yeah, I'm about to. I literally just got here about 5 minutes ago, and gonna go on
you're in.
stage, and you're telling me 90% of the audience speaks English.
Yeah.
Well,
Yes,
Yeah.
there's no
And,
problem.
issue.
Yeah, it's not.
yeah.
But did you
well,
come up
I'll
with
be the decider of that after the
If
show.
it's an issue or not, yes.
Do come from the #1 country, so
It's true.
Yeah.
Number one. Yeah. Hello.
this is my wife.
Hello, wife. How are you? What's your name? Melinda. Nice to meet you. Yeah.
Did you
very
come
cool.
up with some material about Romania?
Just
the
a
way,
little bit. I haven't
the
had
way
time.
you did it in the special.
Just a little bit. I've noticed you guys have a lot of dogs. A lot of dogs.
Yeah, it's
And
a common.
I was filming some stuff. Oh, I think the camera moved. Check it. And then, yeah, a lot of. It seems like you have too many dogs.
It's actually like
It's better than it was, I heard.
Yeah.
it
But where I was
awful.
filming, which is a little more out in the country, a lot of dogs.
Where
Yeah.
where did you?
Bufta. I
Both
think.
there. It's
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
There are
And
dogs.
yeah, a lot of dogs.
Yes,
There are dogs.
you
A
are
lot
right.
of dogs. So you guys have a lot of dogs.
It used to be like that. In
We have
the
a lot of
city.
guns. We have a lot of guns. So
Oh,
I
so-
think having a lot of dogs.
It's a
I
problem.
think having a lot of dogs is better.
Dogs for Guns program.
Or maybe. So that's what I propose.
Yeah, dogs
We'll
for
give you
guns.
some guns. We'll give you some dogs.
Get some dogs.
So, or maybe you don't have too many dogs. Maybe you don't have enough dog owners. That's what it is.
That's the
You just need
problem.
more people to take
Yeah.
in. the
Yeah,
dogs.
Yes.
more
If
dog
If you give us
owners.
Some guns will get rid of the rest. Of the
Yeah,
dogs. But just we
Okay,
just
that
need
sounds
some
kind
guns.
of mean. That sounds like
but
you're going to be killing all the
effective.
dogs.
But effective.
Sure, it is effective.
But the way you saw it in Bufta, it's the way it used to be in
Yes.
Bucharest. I mean,
In the city.
in the
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
10 years
that's what they
ago-
were telling me.
10
How
years ago,
Yeah.
like packs of 7 to 10 dogs just roaming the streets.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was coming home from some show in another city. This is my
Wasn't
wheel.
driving, this is how it goes.
I'm going home like this because
You've
it's cold outside.
You've
and
never driven a car
You never,
before.
but this
Yeah, yeah.
is
It
how
was a
mad
bike,
I
reverse bike. No, it was a fight between the policeman
Uh-huh.
and the dogs. It was a fight. A
Oh,
couple
wow,
of
that's
kids,
cool.
yes.
Who won?
Yeah, I think the police.
Yeah.
I think
The dogs and the
police.
pigs.
Sadly.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's basically what it is.
Nice.
And then what else have I learned? No highways in Romania.
We
Yeah,
have
yeah.
the 3
Yeah.
highways in construction.
Yeah, so
Since-
that,
Which
that-
equals
that's a
no
problem.
highways.
Yeah,
No
yeah,
highways. They
yeah.
haven't been built yet.
No,
Yeah,
But they're
But
working
the-
on
We
it.
have lots of highway
we have hope.
segments. We just don't
Ah.
really connect them.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so no
It's-
cars on the subways,
Yeah.
on the highways. Yeah.
No, there are. So it's like a puzzle. You know, there are some 50
why connect them?
kilometers.
You know, leave them
Yeah,
separate.
yeah,
you
yeah.
know.
It's more interesting.
But it's
Yeah.
full of
That's
hope.
boring,
Romania,
yeah.
we
It's
have
boring.
hope
Yeah.
here. It's
So I've been
full
learning
of
a little bit. You know, I mean, that's one of the reasons I like to travel. I like to really learn
Yeah.
about. See, one of the problems with America is that many people in America don't learn about any place else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
They-
there's a few reasons.
Sorry, they use Romania in lots of movies, and they just like
like it's
Dracula,
like a
Dracula.
punchline also.
There is a punchline, yeah.
It,
It's like
several
Romanian army.
comedians I've heard the punchline like Romanian because it sounds funny. Romanian, also poor.
Oh, you mean
It's a-
American comedians?
yeah,
will
American.
use Romania
Chris
as a-
Rock used it at some point,
Yeah.
and other
Okay.
comedians used Romanian. I think
George
it sounds
Carlin
funny.
also. I
Yeah,
heard
George
some,
Carlin said
Interesting.
Romanian.
like
yeah,
Romanian army.
Yeah.
What
Yeah,
the
yeah.
fuck is wrong? We have an army.
Yeah, yeah.
It's hidden
that's-
somewhere.
Hide it.
It's
Yes.
One thing that's interesting about Romania, it's one of the few countries I can visit where I sort of look like I might be from here.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? Or it's like a lot of places I go, even a lot of cities I go in the U.S., it's like, oh, I don't really fit in at
Yeah,
all.
you know.
But here, it kind of looks like
Yeah,
I
yeah.
could be from here.
Yeah, you could
You
be
do
fun.
have.
Yeah.
Do you know what do you look like from Romania? You look like a failed poet.
A failed poet.
Yes, that's a very good description.
No, I think that's the description. I think
Yeah,
that's
yeah, a failed
the
poet,
description
yes.
everywhere. Are there a lot of failed poets in Romania?
A lot
We
of
don't know. We don't know. We don't
but
know.
then again, they failed. I mean,
We never heard of them.
But
We
you
never-
know, a failed poet might actually be a success. Might actually be a
yeah,
success.
Yes, for
Yeah.
them to be a poet, you have to
They
be
have
famous.
die first.
yeah, I know
You know, you got to lead the tortured life. Is your who? He's a failed poet. What is a
Everybody's
failed
uncle
poet?
is a failed
What does
poet.
that mean, a failed poet?
A failed poet is a poet.
I mean, but then again, what is a
You mean-
successful poet?
Yeah.
That's the best.
These days,
Yeah.
is there a successful poet?
Well, we need more poets.
Julian
Poets
Tănăscu.
are important. So how often do you guys perform?
Oh come on! You didn't come here to learn about.
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
Let's dissect
a
you.
little bit, a little bit. Well, dissect me some more, man.
Yeah, we started.
Ask
What
me any
what I
questions.
found, what I found fascinating in your special is exactly this: is that you do have that persona of the ignorant, arrogant bastard, but you do know a lot of things about international
Yeah,
politics and
Yeah.
different countries. And I mean, the way you did the bit about the Scandinavian countries.
Yes.
Yeah,
That
yeah,
was
yeah.
amazing.
That was a very good.
Oh,
bit.
thanks,
like
man.
the rich people are in Norway, the creative people are in Denmark. I didn't expect that from an American.
Oh,
Yeah,
thanks,
yeah,
man.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, you know, I always try to, I mean, I think everyone deep down is different. And then I'm always working hard to, to be unique,
Yeah.
and to learn, and to grow as a comic, I think it's important to, and that, and traveling helps a lot, because
Of course.
the U.S. is a very big country. And because it's so big, I mean, we only border 2 other countries, Canada and
Yeah.
Mexico.
We know.
And they're both very, well, a lot of Americans don't.
Yeah.
So I gotta say it like it is. So it's like a lot of, so because America is so big, it really is so much of it is so far away from a lot of the world.
Yeah.
And then the country, and that's sort of the main theme throughout the stand-up special is I'm satirizing the idea of American exceptionalism.
Yeah.
Because in America, from the time you're a little kid, you're taught that not only is America the greatest country in the world, you're taught it's the greatest country in the history of the world.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah,
the
so
country's very divided.
Your history is pretty.
Yeah, in the history of
history of
America, in the
America.
history of the world, the
Yeah.
history of America is rather small. I
Small.
should
Yeah,
say.
yeah, It's a young country.
yeah, it's a
Yeah.
young country.
So it's
But during that period,
Yeah, it was the
Greatest.
Yeah.
Greatest.
no, the greatest in history.
The
is what
Yeah.
that's what they teach you.
If
And
the
when you watch
history
the
was
news-
100 years
And when you watch
ago.
the news on TV, it doesn't matter if it's CNN, MSNBC,
Yeah.
or Fox. They all say that this is the greatest country in the world.
Yeah.
And then when someone's running for president, they will always say we're electing the leader
Leader
of the free world.
yeah.
And I always wondered, well, how come Sweden doesn't get to vote? How come Argentina doesn't get to
Yeah.
vote? How come Egypt doesn't get to vote?
Yeah, yeah.
well,
And then I think,
Egypt is not
it must be because we're number one. It must be only the number one country gets
Yeah.
to vote for the president of the United States. So there's this propaganda that is just all-consuming in the United States, and most people don't see it. I really don't think they see it. They'll look at it as, many people look at it as, the Republicans are the bad guys, and the people who vote Republican will look at the Democrat are the bad guys. But most people don't look at the overall picture of our own just national propaganda, period. And then when you take into account how physically big our country is and how it's not close to a lot of other countries, so people don't travel that often. And then most people, when they travel, they just do the touristy shit. They'll go to the beach, or they'll go to a castle.
Eiffel Tower
they might go to a couple landmarks, and that's it. And everywhere they're going, they're just meeting other tourists. They don't like when I go to cities, man. I like getting on the subway. I take the bus. Today I went to a laundromat. There's not a lot of laundromats.
Yeah,
I'm at the hotel, and they told me there's no laundromats.
Yes.
No, we don't
I
have
looked it
that.
up. I found 3 laundromats.
I think they are for foreigners.
No. One was at ASE. It's Economic University. So a couple former students there started their own little laundromat for basically for the students. But it can be for everybody.
You're teaching us.
Yes.
That's what a world champion does. That's what a world So I went to a laundromat today. I like going to just the grocery store, the pharmacy, just doing the regular everyday shit and noticing, similarities and differences, and then talking to people, and just talking about, I like talking about the stuff that people don't like talking about. Like I was on a film set earlier this week, and I was talking to, some different crew people, and I'm like, well, politically, where are you guys at? What are the issues? And they're like, oh, we don't like to talk about politics. I'm like, that's why I want to talk about it. Often the thing people don't want to talk about are the things we should be talking about.
Yeah, but I think you found the only 2 guys who don't want to talk about politics.
Yeah.
Because everybody likes to talk about politics.
Good.
Because it's so fucked up, everybody feels they have a point.
Yeah, it seems like it's pretty fucked up here.
Do you know how fucked do you know how fucked up it is?
I've been trying to find out. It seems like it's pretty fucked up.
A little bit of Schadenfreude with America. Because what happens to you right now, since Trump got elected, and a little bit before that, is actually you're going towards the Romanian.
You're
actually getting to the place where politicians lie without any shame, without any.
Right.
I mean, Trump brought that into politics. He brought. I mean, I'm not saying that up to Trump nobody lied in politics.
Right. But unfortunately, that's what a lot of people think. Like a lot, and I think that's one of the reasons Trump won. Like there were many people, I think, who voted for Hillary and really thought America really was perfect.
No.
And then, and they don't see the issues. Like Trump is terrible, and very dangerous, but he did not invent slavery. He did not invent racism. He did not invent sexism. He did not invent no health care in the United States.
He seems more stupid than Hillary. This is my perspective.
Well,
he seems more stupid than Hillary. I think Hillary, if she won, she would lie a lot better than
this
Trump.
Is what I'm talking about.
She's
the quality of lying.
Yeah. No, he's
so
not.
What Trump brought, he brought down the quality of lying.
Yes.
So he lies like a 7-year-old.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's terrible.
Yes.
You can find that he's lying.
From teenager level up.
Nice.
But there's something about that. There's something about Trump. Even though he lies so much, there's an honesty about him.
Yes.
Because you know where he stands. Someone like Hillary. Is more of a politician where, okay, where do they really stand?
She's like a fox, and Trump is like a stupid dog.
So Trump, even though he's lying, you know exactly what he's about.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, but we
a stupid pit bull.
In Romania, the level of discourse and the level of debate in Romanian politics is so goddamn low.
Yeah.
We actually wish for a politician who could lie very well. We wish for good lying.
See, that's what we've always had. Yeah. Basically. Always had.
This is why I'm saying you're actually living the Romanian nightmare.
Yeah.
The Romanian nightmare is politicians not only
the American dream.
lying very, very badly.
Yeah. Well, I think, when you have, when a government has so much power and so much corruption, they can get away with that.
Yeah.
You know, and I think, you know, our country is very fastly moving in that direction. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. And a lot of people in the U.S., they're very perplexed. And it is crazy times in the U.S. right now. But so many people have this idea that, well, it's, Trump didn't win the majority of the votes. So I think Trump is likely to win again in the next election.
Do you think he will run again?
Yeah, I think he will. Yeah.
He registered to run again.
Yeah. He's already starting, I think. Yeah.
Oh my God.
So, and I think he would probably. I think there's a good chance he would win again.
I really thought he didn't want to win.
With the, he's all those people, and he's even a more extreme example. Anyone who would want to, run a country is
that's a problem right there. Yeah, you need to
like anyone who's a billionaire. No one became a billionaire by being a nice person. Or not fucking people over, or not having something really psychologically wrong with them to want that much money and
power.
Power.
Joe Rogan said that on one of his podcasts, that you have to be really sick in the head to want to be president.
Or any kind of a billionaire kind of thing. It's so.
But anyway, let's go back to comedy.
I want to ask you something, please.
How did you come up with the world champion
only
persona? Because you're one of the very few comedians who have a persona.
Well, it happened years ago, and it's always been changing and growing. So initially, it was a comment on people who brag a lot and the show-offs, So initially I started, it worked two ways. I always did a lot of art and stuff like that. And I always thought it was weird how in America it's very label conscious and, people always wearing whatever the label is, showing that they're cool wearing this label. And I'm always like, why do they do that? I'm like, I'll just put my own stuff on something. And then I was writing all these jokes about these ridiculous and amazing athletic achievements that I've done. So
I actually bought your book.
And I made
I pirated it.
And I made a book. I made a hat called Record Breaker, and I was talking about all these different world records I've broken, all these athletic achievements and all these things like that. So then I thought it would be funny if I made a hat that said world champion, but not of what. And then I would do all these jokes. And I remember, this is probably 20 years ago. And I remember at the time, it seemed like all the comics were trying to bond with the audience. Like, hey, you ever notice this? Yeah, me too. And I decided, I'm going to do the opposite of that shit. I'm going to act like I can't relate to these people at all because I'm just so fucking superior to them. And just act like a total asshole. And so go the opposite way. So
did that come easy to you?
What's that?
Did it come easy to you?
It was fun, yeah. I mean, but it was good because I was doing all these jokes about these amazing athletic achievements of mine, and the hat. And my act has always been, from the beginning, it was always very joke heavy. A lot of one-liners as well as longer jokes, and always a lot of crowd work. Doing a lot of crowd work. So when I made the hat that said world champion, it would get people to say, well, world champion of what? And then that would lead me into my jokes. So it worked on a couple ways there. So initially it was making fun of the show-offs, the braggers, And then it started to be that even more, because then MySpace started happening, Facebook started happening. So this narcissism, making fun of the narcissist, where everything's just all about me, me, me. That's what it was sort of commenting on. And then it sort of morphed a little bit into like, oh, I'm not really bragging. These are all actually real things, and I'm just almost like this superhuman kind of person. I'm actually being really humble about it. and then over the years, it started. I think it was around 7 or 8 years ago. I started traveling over to Europe and doing shows. And you know how when I initially started going to other countries, first I thought, I want to be learning about these other countries, which I did. But I really started learning more about my own country. it's kind of like if you're in a bad relationship, all your friends are like, why are you going out with that person? They treat you horribly, and you're so caught up in it. You're like, oh, no, they're great, even though they're being bad to you. And then a few years go by, you're not with that person anymore, and then you can see, be like, oh, wow, they were horrible to me. Why was I with them? So it's kind of like that. Once I got outside the U.S., I was able to sort of analyze it a little better and see things more clearly. So then the world champion started becoming still those other things, making fun of the narcissism and stuff like that, but becoming a champion of the world. So someone who fights for the rights of the people of the world, the animals of the world, the air of the world, the plants of the world. So that's kind of what the world champion is. So it's kind of like all those different layers in it.
Nice. So. It's a pretty long-term commitment to this job.
But it's changing.
It's changing.
Yeah,
this
it's always
is
changing. You know,
we have a comedian here in Romania. It's called Natanticu Cosmin. He has the same material for like 10 years, but now it is the perfect material because it was
sometimes
said.
you got to work on it. Everyone works at their own.
It was said so many times it becomes a jewelry. It's a diamond right now. After 10 years of saying that same material,
word by word,
it's like diamond.
Yeah. Now I have a question for you guys. Do you get a lot of the same, like regulars, the same audience members coming, or is it always different? What's that?
Less than 30%.
Okay.
For the club, for Club 99,
Gotcha.
less than 30%.
Oh, that's cool.
And those people who come back actually know they're coming back, and they might see the same material.
Right.
So, we're here every weekend.
Yeah,
every
very cool.
weekend we're here, and they know they might see the same material. And it's
Yeah.
not an issue for them. I mean, there's some
Right.
people who really actually. There's some people. The people who are the most invested in the shows and coming back are
Right.
actually the people who come back for the little changes. In
Sure,
the
yeah, that's great.
They're like.
That's great. You got real fans. That's great.
Because it's really stressful when you see the same guy the third time in a month.
Right.
Well, like, man, we actually talk to them and say, like, dude, we don't have any new material.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, it's okay. I just want to see how you say it this time.
That's cool.
Yeah. I mean, it's actually, there's some people who think that if they saw a joke once and then they see it again, it's actually, there's no value to that. Right. And then there's some people who actually see in the matrix and see that there's something changing.
I mean, that's a great audience member. I mean, if that happens, you know.
There's some people who watch so closely what we're doing that they actually understand that it's never the same. Because it is never the same.
Right, yeah. No, it's true.
I mean, I think you notice that even if you try to do the same show twice, you never can.
Well, some comics, it really is the same. I mean, some comics really start with joke number one, then they go to joke number two. And
but even then, the reaction from the audience influences the cadence, the rhythm.
But I'm saying, but some comics, it's not a compliment, but, you know, some comics really don't change a fucking thing, you know. And
but is that even possible right now in this age of internet and
think
phones?
About it. I mean, we only get to see the top comics from US.
I'll say this. Yeah. You'll see the most popular comics.
The most popular.
There's many. There's a lot of good comics who are not getting breaks. You know, the business is. This is not sports. You know, generally when there's a race in the Olympics, the fastest person wins. It's not because they were kissing the ass of the producer of the Olympics. You know, they're actually the fucking fastest.
Can you give us three names? Give us three names.
I'll give you a few people. A friend of mine, Ted Alexandro, great comic. He does a lot
tall guy, bald.
Yeah,
we've seen. He does.
But he has a new
music.
special he just made, and he's like trying to shop it around now, and I don't know if it's getting out there. You know, it's like it's really.
But I mean, if we heard about him, then he's not doing that badly.
No, but still, you may not have. You're not seeing his new stuff. No. You know, so it's in Hollywood, there's a lot of gatekeepers, and they really, I think, for the most part, don't care about quality. They really just care about how many tickets a person will sell, and basically,
it's
how
basically
it's the same here.
But it's gotten worse over the years. I think as comedy's become a bigger business over the years, and it's become a more corporate business, show business. There's the problems have changed a little bit.
Yeah.
And as social media has climbed, if you have a huge social media presence, that's going to get you a comedy special much faster than being a good comic.
That's right.
You know, and that
didn't
used to be
Dane Cook effect.
and that didn't used to be the case. You know?
Yeah.
So Ted Alexandro, give us 2 more names.
Ted Alexandro, let's see, Nick Griffin is very funny. Marina Franklin. Who else? Those are 3 right there. I mean, there's tons of other people. Mike Vecchione.
Mike Vecchione.
So, you know, a lot of people. So, yeah.
Yeah.
It's nice.
Costel.
Any other questions? Any other questions?
No,
Any
in
other
America,
questions?
in New York, no.
Maria Bamford really started to pick up some.
She's
places.
very popular. Yeah, very popular.
Yeah, but it's interesting because if you look at her like 5 or 6 years ago, you wouldn't have pegged her as someone who would, you know, be popular.
Yeah, but you know, I don't know. To me, it seems like she's been a pretty, you know, like a favorite of the industry, you know, for about 15 years or so. I would say, yeah, you know, she's
Of the industry.
Yeah, I think she's, you know, I remember I lived in LA a couple of years. She's LA based. I remember when I moved there, she was always, I mean, she was more up and coming then, but she was always looked at as like one of the favorite comics in LA, you know, so even though, you know, she didn't just start, you know what I mean? She's been around a long time and has been a big act for a while, but now she's quite a big act, yeah, as far as popularity goes, or you know. So.
Are you surprised that there's a comedy scene in Romania?
No, I'm not. Because I got this offer to do a movie out here. I filmed all this past week, and one thing.
No, you shouldn't have said that because we wanted to keep this image that we paid to get you over here.
Oh yeah. No. I'm just stopping it, but so I'm very interested in going to other countries and learning about other countries, and I eat Romanian food every once in a while too in New York, just so you know. Yeah, in Queens, near where I live.
Fuck.
Yeah. No, there's a
Sarmale.
I like it. I like the sarmale. I like the
Is there
sarmale a lot.
Romanian food in Queens?
Yeah, sure. There's 2 restaurants that I go to. There's Boon, Boon, and there's Romanian Gardens. It's called. And it's all Romanian people.
Romanian dogs.
You know. yeah. All Romanian people eat there.
But why are you not surprised that there's a Romanian comedy scene?
Because
most people are.
Well, you know, like I said, I've been coming to Europe the past 8 years or so, and one thing I've noticed is that stand-up comedy is a newer art form. Yeah. In not counting England, but the rest of Europe, it's a newer art form, and so you know, every time I go to cities, I meet people and I see, you know, comics starting their own rooms and stuff, and I think it's fantastic. I think it's very exciting, and because I mean the British will argue, but basically stand-up comedy it's kind of an American art form, something that is, you know, sort of started and it's spreading and it's getting. You know, which is great, you know, and it's exciting to see new scenes pop up. It seems like certain countries, it hasn't really caught on yet. Like in Italy, I don't know.
Yeah, no, it doesn't have.
I don't think they have a scene.
France,
maybe
France has one.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Paris has one. I've done shows in Paris.
Maybe it's not a stand-up scene, but Pepe Grillo is like he's
He
runs the country. It's comedy still. He's a comedian and he runs the country. Come on.
I have to start the show.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll just talk for.
We'll talk some more. I want to see the start of the show. We can talk a little bit afterwards too, if you want to pick it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure. We can.
I want to see the start of the show.
Okay, let's go.
We'll do a little wrap up afterwards or something.
Great, man.
Cool.
Nice talk. Now it's on.
We're good?
Okay, yeah.
Yours on? No, I'm trying to think where I've been. England, Ireland, Scotland, Finland, a few cities in Sweden, a few cities in Netherlands, Paris, here now. Germany this week. I'm going to Berlin this week.
Yeah, nice.
And then I didn't do stand-up in Croatia, but I met up with a bunch of Croatian comedians in Zagreb who started their own comedy club.
Okay, nice.
So it was cool. So I'm aware that you know, the comedians in other countries where the stand-up is a newer thing.
Yeah.
And you're starting your own shows, it's like, I think a lot of you guys are bigger students of the stand-up game than other people.
I know.
Because you're outsiders looking in.
Yep.
Right. In this show you did this night, you had the same joke that Vio had a couple of years
ago.
Two of them.
The one with the human resources and the one with the bees. And
yes,
well,
we had the same jokes.
Oh, really?
The same premise and the same punchline.
In the same show?
No, not the same show. But in the
for which one? Which bit? Which bit?
The one with the beekeepers?
The beekeepers?
Oh yeah, I did. Yeah. That's a joke I did. I first did that joke, I don't know, 10, 15 years ago.
Yeah, he did it like 8 years ago.
10 years ago, yes.
Yeah.
But it's a very nice thing to see that it's my point of view of how we get jokes. Because I think the jokes are like a cloud.
They're there.
The jokes are there. And you just go like, I want to do jokes. And you just ran for them. And you just grab a joke. And then you find out you got the beekeeper.
You don't jump to the clouds. You run to the clouds.
You run. You run to the clouds.
It snows horizontally right now.
It does sometimes.
So you go and jump for the joke, and there are 3 or 4 athletes, joke athletes that came to the same exact premise and to the same exact punchline. Because I want to say that when I first started doing stand-up, I had the same joke with Eddie Izzard about the Lassie and Flipper, because Lassie he was always, or she was, I don't know the
right
sex of the dog. I'm not interested of that. So every time something happened in the city, they go to Lassie, what happened? Where is Timmy? Timmy, he's stuck into the woods with some 2 guys. And the Flipper, it is like the same detective, but the subaquatic detective. What happened, Flipper? But Timmy had been stuck in the woods. You watch too much Lassie. You watch it's the
right.
So I had the same premise and the same almost the same punchline like Eddie Izzard, and it was mine. I cannot give up to that because it was other popular.
No, but when those things happen,
first
you have to,
years of stand-up in Romania.
Well, sometimes when those things happen, you need to discuss them. If 2 comics come up with it doesn't always happen, but once in a while it happens where comics might come up with the same bit
joke
or a similar bit. And you have to discuss it with that comic. I mean, that's just my opinion.
Yeah, but with Eddie Izzard,
it was pretty hard,
But sometimes you have to. Sometimes, depending on the situation, they're different enough where you can keep doing it, and then sometimes, you have to stop doing it.
We know that.
But our problem is that no matter who did it first. If we did it first in Romania, and that other guy does it like a few years later on a special in the US, everybody's just gonna assume that.
That happens in the US too. Though. Like if there's one comic who's really famous, and they start doing a bit after someone who's not as famous doing it. It's
so
like
you have to kill him.
So that's why when I wrote a joke a few years ago, then the same joke was in Jimmy Carr's special. And I actually put a video of me saying the joke. It was like 2009, and then Jimmy Carr's joke that was like 4 or 5 years later, and I said Jimmy Carr steals from Sergio, and everybody was commenting, Sergio is stealing. And I just said mine was like 4 or 5 years before.
Costel had that happen to him with Pablo Francisco second and hopefully last special. Ouch. I don't know if you saw that.
No.
With the death metal.
You didn't see that?
No.
You didn't see that?
No.
Oh, it's painful to watch.
Okay.
It's painful to watch.
Sorry.
Because Pablo Francisco is like his hair is all like sweaty and swept up on it, and it's like Pablo Francisco doing a really bad job of imitating Pablo Francisco. It's like
that's too bad.
Okay, but he has a joke in the opening of the special, which is exactly Costel's joke
about the death metal.
Death metal going like you can't make the crowd sing the chorus on a death metal in a death metal concert, and nobody understands what they're saying. saying is
right.
Nobody can forget the lyrics to a death metal song.
Right.
It's the same joke. Costel did it like 6 years before.
Interesting.
But I really respect this guy because when the special came out, I just went to him and no, really, because I just went to him and went like, Pablo Francisco is fucking doing your joke. Are you going to still be doing this joke?
Right.
And this guy said, "Fuck it, it's my joke."
Yeah,
well,
definitely.
I mean, if you've been doing it first,
it's Romania,
5 years,
on,
man.
Yeah.
5 years.
and you know you've been doing it first, then you got to do it.
You know your it's your own. I had a bit that is the similar of Jerry Seinfeld, and I had the same attitude. That joke, I still have some second thoughts because I think that it was in my head, and afterwards I just forgot that I know
that happens
about
sometimes where
Okay. But it's about the underwear that you wear it till it evaporates. The man underwear, it just evaporates. You go to your girlfriend with just the, how do you banda elastic.
Just the elastic spread.
Yeah, I get it.
And you go, I swear I had pants on. It's just like this. And
but
I liked it like so much, and I want to say it. I don't care if that's somebody. I want to say this. It's just I really love this joke because.
But he did it first.
I think so.
Yeah. See, then I would
that's
stop.
a problem. Yeah.
I would stop.
Yeah.
But see, that's very interesting.
Well, but those things are hard. Where it's like.
I know.
That's why it's just so important to like. Always be moving forward.
Yeah, I know.
Always be working on new stuff.
Always doing something that is different. This is the comedy.
This is very interesting to think about because a lot of time people would come up to us like Romanian stand-up comedy fans and they would come up to us and say things like, "Oh, this guy stole this joke from that guy," and it's really interesting that we as performers we have like a sixth sense about if it's stolen or it's just parallel thinking. Sometimes we just feel
Dave Attell kind of thinking.
You know, Dave Attell has a paranoia about.
Of course, no, he's a friend of mine. Yeah, I know Dave.
And he has this thing about not
Just
doing anybody's joke.
Right.
Sometimes it's just your joke and somebody else also does a joke that's similar. It's not that you stole it.
No.
It happens. It fucking happens.
There's many different things. There are people who do steal jokes, who just flat out steal.
Yes.
And then there's some people who they won't do the joke word for word. They'll just change it.
They'll steal
like
the mechanics of it.
In our country, they will change the key A minor with that. It's just a joke.
And then sometimes people will have a similar subject or idea, but then they kind of go different directions with it.
Yeah.
Or they might go a similar direction, but then the following jokes are different. So whenever those things happen, you have to, I think it's important to bring it up, discuss it, and hopefully the other comic is cool with discussing it. And you come up with a solution of what to do, and sometimes you got to drop the bit. Sometimes they got to drop the bit. Sometimes if you can't figure out who did it first, you might be like, all right, well, we can both keep doing it, but if we're on the same show, let's talk to each other beforehand. You know. But it's
type of
and
Japan
then sometimes you just have to come to your own decision and be like, even if it's a good joke of yours, and you know you didn't take it from anyone, and maybe you even did it first, and you're like, all right, I'm just gonna not do that one, because sometimes that's the other thing, the more material you develop over the years and stuff, there might be certain jokes you do that get laughs, but you're just not going to do them, So
on the other hand, I for one, I'm more for. I know you're more of a one-liner guy. You're going for
some of it is, some isn't. Yeah.
But what I like to do is go for the kind of a longer construction.
Sure.
And when you go for the longer construction, it's less likely that it's the same because a one-liner can be pretty much the same, but if you go on for 3 minutes or 4 minutes, how high are the chances that it's the same 4 minutes?
Some things will differ, some punchlines might differ, but the main idea is the same. And it's,
but if the direction is the same, but the punchlines are different, come on.
It also depends on intent, what your intent is, and but you always got to be. you always have to be your own harshest critic.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
decide what is the fair thing to do and what's the
we had this is
best
called
thing to do. Cool.
This is an orthodox icon.
Cool.
Yeah.
So we.
I like how you gave Carlin the Romanian spelling on the first name there. Yeah.
What?
You got the Romanian spelling.
We got the
yeah.
We got the Romanian spelling of
George. I noticed right now.
George Carlin.
Yeah.
MC Prior.
Yeah.
I'm a prior direction of doing stand-up because I like to do very storytelling bits.
Yeah.
They are
characters.
he's very Carlin.
And
anti-establishment in stuff like that.
Yeah, very.
And the more
we love stand-up so much.
Yeah, the longer you do
so
it,
much.
the more, if you're, stand-up is something that theoretically you can keep getting better at and keep growing.
That is the
But
thing.
if you don't keep working on new stuff and trying to talk about, new things and different things, then you can become stagnant. But you want to
definitely.
That actually happened to me for a while right now because I haven't drove for a while because it felt so comfortable because I know it always worked. Was a period where I was trying some new jokes. It was difficult, because it was just
and it's addicting.
It's addicting. Yeah, that's the problem.
It's what I think we can call the trap of really good material. Like when you write 30 minutes of really good material, that's a trap.
Yes.
You can get caught in
it
that.
happened to me, and it happened for quite a while.
That's where I'm at now because I just put out my stand-up movie, and it's 84 minutes.
Yeah, it's long, man.
So I'm
it's
not
long.
doing well. Initially, Netflix. So I basically made it myself. Then my agent shopped it to Netflix, and then they took them a while, but after a while they made an offer to license it, and initially in my original cut, it said a film by Judah Friedlander because it's basically a movie. It's a stand-up performance movie.
Definitely.
They wouldn't allow me to have that in there.
Oh,
It couldn't say a film by Judah
Netflix
Friedlander. It has
comedy
to say a Netflix comedy original. And I'm like, well, I did direct it, and it is a film. So why can't we put that in there? And they're like, they got all these fucking rules. So I'm like, I just want to get the shit out there. So I'm like, you can call it a special, you can call it a movie, but it's a movie.
It's
seriously
a
movie.
very good one.
Pick your battles.
But it's
we did enjoy it.
Toma, de ce nu e aici?
And then
Nu știu, ar trebui să zică ceva.
what's happening?
You guys
What's
just talk.
happening?
No, we were
No, we
talking
can
about
wrap- we can wrap
another.
up in 5
We were
minutes.
talking about another.
It's just there's two
comedian
more
friend.
fans of yours who
Oh,
don't
okay.
know
Come
we're
on,
podcasting
it's-
right now,
Oh,
and
okay.
they're somewhere
So
over
we're
there.
just
They can come
looking
in.
at Netflix. We're just looking and finding new shows just to get us inspired.
Yeah.
Just to get us inspired to doing everything that's.
But inspired, not like we have to say this because we're filming for a Romanian
no,
audience.
no,
It's not inspired like stealing jokes. It's like
No, no, no.
inspired
It's
like,
like doing-
oh, you can do
You
this.
can
Mental
do this.
inspiration.
Yeah.
You
You
know,
can do this.
you know
Come
what?
on, let's do
Inspiration.
this.
You know what
Yeah.
happens
Come
to
on,
me
it's good.
right now? I'm actually writing new material, as you probably noticed, because it's not funny anymore. I sometimes try and try and watch some stand-up comedy before I start writing, And sometimes I watch some comedians that I think are really good, and actually has the opposite effect. I'm thinking, why the fuck am I doing this?
Yeah, I actually.
Why am I doing this?
Who's
he's a
your
genius.
Judah, can I ask you something real honest? Like,
Yeah.
who's your depressing stand-up comedian? Who's the stand-up
that does
comedian?
that does this to you.
You look at the stand-up
watch-
and you go, oh, that's sad.
Fuck it, they know how to do it. I don't know how to do it.
Nah, I don't feel that way with anyone. To me, I view things as, it's art is. It's important to get art out there, and so no, I don't view things in that kind of a way. I just
You're
don't.
just
I don't
a
look at it
step
from
up.
that angle. Yeah,
But
I
look,
don't at it
look.
from that angle.
You're like
As the world champion, there's really
Yeah, definitely.
nobody.
you're going
look up to.
you're going off brand.
Yeah. No. But
That
but seriously,
position, of
it's
course.
I really don't look at things that way.
I think you're more secure in
Let
us
me
than
interrupt
us.
you, Judah.
Yeah.
You've been doing stand-up, I think, next year for 30 years.
Sometimes I'll hear a comic do a joke, and I'll be like, oh fuck, I should have fucking.
Yeah, everybody.
Yeah,
has that.
that
But no,
happens.
there's no one. I don't get depressed looking at anyone like that.
But have you ever?
No.
Never.
No.
Have you always been the world champion?
Yes.
Shit, man.
Because you've been doing stand up for 30 years. It's
Almost.
kind of at 29 and whatever.
Something like that.
But it's kind of normal at 30 years of doing stand up to not get depressed at what. But
yeah, but I
You see
think
Kevin Hart,
I never.
the early Kevin Hart and the lately Kevin Hart.
No, but I never really looked at things that way. You know, I really don't. I don't look at things as competition.
No,
or
it's
anything
not
like that.
about competition.
No,
Yeah,
no.
but no, I don't. Hey, hello.
More comedians. drinking
more
again.
comedians will come.
What's up,
Yes,
guys?
it's
What's
like-
You're
up?
like a
What's up?
light to the moth. More comedians become. But it's not about the competition aspect of it. It's more of like getting depressed because you see somebody
No.
doing it so much better
Look,
than
I
you
saw
feel
the
you could do it.
movie Amadeus, and you know, so I don't. I'm not like Salieri, you know, who was jealous.
Yeah, nice.
Who was
Okay,
jealous
good.
of Mozart.
It's not about
Yeah.
jealousy.
Yeah.
It's not about jealousy.
No.
It's
No.
just seeing such a pure expression of the
Yeah.
art form that you feel maybe I can't get to that
Can I
pure
No,
of an
give
expression.
never had that
Can I
feeling.
give you an example
Yeah.
of this?
I know what you mean.
feeling?
I've just never
Let
had
me-
We are Romanians who are trying to depress you,
We
Judah.
are Latins in our
Yeah.
blood.
We have
is the
problems,
fire
Judah.
of
The
it.
world champion will sink
Now-
to the second
Yeah.
place.
So Latins, you were saying.
Yeah.
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 Let me see. Let me tell you
It means
something.
something else than in.
I know.
I was watching after downloading a torrent from some. We are in Romania.
No, it's all right.
The comedian special. It was with Doug Stanhope and 3 other guys.
Brendan
First,
Walsh,
Brendan Walsh.
Actually,
Walsh had a joke.
that.
Had a joke about the grandmother, his grandmother being in hospital. Don't worry, said to the public, don't worry, she's having a baby, and he was carrying a baby uncle, and that was the kind of premise. And I didn't want to hear the jokes afterwards. It was that kind of a premise that I hate the guy. I hate it so much. He had that thought. I said as was
grandmother just being pregnant and giving
Right.
birth to his
grandmother,
baby
she
uncle.
is to baby uncle. And
Yeah.
I was like, I want to steal this from you. And I want
But
to
I-
do this joke. Yes, I cannot believe I don't have this thought. I didn't have this thought.
I
in
should
my
have
mind.
come up with
I
that.
should
You
have
gotta
come
be.
up with this.
You gotta be careful. You don't start stealing. You gotta be careful.
Yeah.
I know, I
you
know.
have a.
That's the.
It's
the
okay,
thing.
Judah. We've been stealing.
Oh,
yeah, we've
shit.
been there. We've been there. No
we've
problem.
been there. No, listen. This is a topic that's
That
been
no, that has
discussed.
happened where I was a friend of mine was I forget what country he was in. I can't remember if it's France or somewhere, but he was in some country, and there's some comic there who's notorious for stealing.
Oh yeah, there's
for
been
stealing like American
there's been a huge scandal.
Yeah.
They did
Yeah.
a side by side.
Yeah,
with
yeah.
the-
I don't know who it is, but a
Yeah.
friend of mine was just talking about that because
Yeah.
one of his jokes was in there, and one of his other
Yeah,
friends'
but
jokes
but,
was in there.
but listen,
yeah.
Judah, just to get this out of the way and
Yeah.
know where we
Yeah.
stand on this.
Yeah.
There's been many talks in Romania about stealing material and so on,
Yeah.
and we openly admitted to stealing material from in the most stupidest way
Yes,
from
first years,
big
first
from
years. We
from big
didn't
performers
know
from
that
Seinfeld,
this
from
is going
Ezard,
to be-
from
Oh, gotcha. That's
from
so
Robin
funny.
Williams. When
well,
we were
well,
like,
he
you
was
know,
known for that too.
yeah.
First years,
This
first
is
second
this is
years.
ironic.
Yeah,
Ironic.
yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, I might have. I stole from Robin
I
Williams
stole, Vio stole,
Yeah.
we stole. But
in the first
after
2 or 3 years. Right now,
please, definitely.
Well, you didn't know, is what you're saying. You didn't,
Yeah.
You didn't know how
No.
shit worked.
no,
you know?
no,
You don't know,
because
you
there
didn't
was
know.
no industry,
Yeah,
no
no,
money
I
in
get
it.
it,
We were
you
just
know.
like, and this was like the first 2 or 3 years of stand up. Right now, stand up in Romania
Guys,
is like 14.
I'm not
to 15.
accusing you of anything.
I'm
Relax.
not. We're just
I
excusing
know.
ourselves. You're not
Just trying
accusing.
to justify.
We are excusing ourselves, and not
We
to
try
you,
to
to the listening
Yeah.
audience.
Hey,
You're just
guys,
a prop to our
guys.
excuse.
Leave them alone. They're okay. They're okay, guys.
Got it.
Leave 'em
right here,
alone.
right here.
We got what we wanted.
Yeah.
Cut.
Yeah.
Nah. It's okay to steal. It's okay to steal when you're starting out. It's really okay to steal when you're starting out because you're not supposed to know what you're doing.
Yeah.
If nobody tells you it's wrong,
that's one thing you should know before you start.
No, if nobody tells you it's wrong,
but you didn't know. But I'm saying,
didn't know that. We didn't know what was stand-up.
The young people starting now, they should know.
Yeah, they definitely should.
It's not like music. Sampling is not allowed. Yeah.
No.
It was like
only 6 seconds from the sample. If you do
no sampling.
A 6 second
6 syllables. You can get 6 syllables from my joke.
From my joke, I can show you.
Like
okay, take my joke.
15 years ago, the industry of stand-up comedy in Romania was like it was in America like 30 or 40 years ago.
No.
I'm talking about
60 years ago.
Yeah.
60, 70 years ago.
Yeah, so when did the scene
like
start
comedians like Bob Hope and like before him, they were using the same material. They didn't know how it was supposed to be.
Sure.
You know?
The actual
it's becoming modern now. You know?
Yeah.
The actual scene, I mean, the modern stand-up scene in Romania started about 14,
about
15 years
2 hours ago when Judah Friedlander went on stage.
The new wave. The new wave.
I really presented you on stage as being like the biggest name that ever granted stage.
Cool.
And thank you for that, man.
And he was talking about.
Thanks for having me here.
For having us. Come on, it's like Scarlett Johansson thanking me for the opportunity to give you a blowjob. Come on, what the fuck is that?
I always like
the biggest name. Friedlander is pretty long.
No, it is. It's a big name. No, but it's always cool. I think what you guys doing here is really cool. You started your own thing, so I mean that's
it's our
that's
club.
Great.
It's our club.
Yeah, that's great, man. I think that's even in the U.S. some of that stuff's happening now, where people who are from a certain city are starting their own thing, and it's comics who are doing it. Comics starting their own rooms and stuff. I think that's important. When you have these comedy clubs who aren't even from your city and they're coming into a new place, sometimes that's good, but it's not good if that's the only thing going on.
The franchise.
Yeah. I mean, that'd be like if the only restaurant in town was McDonald's and there were no locally owned restaurants. You gotta go say
fuck the Irish, right?
Oh, right, for my bed. No. I forgot about that.
That was a beautiful joke.
No, thanks, man. But
McDonald's
I'm
is
literally
the biggest
doing,
Irish restaurant.
Yeah, so tonight, the jokes I did tonight, there were a few new ones I did, and then a few old ones. A couple of the sports jokes I did. Those are like really old. But I was just trying to think first I was just trying to think because I was trying to gauge the audience, on what their English level was. And I was like, all right, I'll try some real kind of simple ones, and then, but even the more subtle ones was great, like the racism bit that I did, which is a new one, is like, they got the nuances. It was great.
Even though we don't have racism in Romania.
No.
The racism bit.
Come on.
I felt that the racism bit you did didn't go over so well.
Well, I did too.
Yeah, but the one that didn't go over so well.
No, they both got the same, I think.
They didn't go over. I mean, I think they kind of
We're going to end the interview right now. No. Finish.
I'm just saying they didn't go over that well, not because of the language barrier. It's because racism in Romania.
Well, it's different than in the U.S.
It's really different.
Well, I mean, first of all,
because people in Romania are like, fuck the gypsies, I'm not a racist. Right? Yeah. So in the U.S., racism is such a heavy issue, and
it's very
complex.
It's very layered.
Yeah. Whereas in Romania, it's like, fuck the gypsies, I'm not racist. But fuck the gypsies.
We have racism is like with the black people. Well, we don't hate black people. We don't have black people. We don't hate them.
a lot of Romanians.
Gypsies. I just a couple of days ago, I just had the conversation with some dude in Craiova. Maybe he will watch this because it was very stupid of him. He said like, I want to go and shoot some gypsies, and like, dude, come on.
This is fucking acceptable speech.
It's acceptable speech, and it's like,
It's scary.
It's
Yeah.
very scary.
And they also say I'm not a racist because I don't hate blacks.
Like
Cabral is okay.
Even in the U.S., I'll meet someone who's from another country, and they might talk about how they hate Trump, but they would never vote for Hillary because she's a woman. So they'll talk about how they hate Trump's racism, but then they'll be like, well, you can't vote for Hillary because it's a woman, and it's like they see nothing wrong with sexism. They see nothing wrong with sexism, and I don't even think they consider it sexist. Their point of view, even though it's incredibly sexist.
If I might say to you, my friend,
yes,
if you could only spend
a
week with us in Romania and find out about sexism.
I've
racism
noticed,
is light mental. Sexism.
I believe you.
Is the true nicotine of this country, man.
I've seen. I've been here about a week, and I've seen stuff that, like, you don't really see so openly in the U.S. anymore. You may have seen it years ago more, or in certain communities you'll still see it, but the overall culture, it's like
you'd have to scroll to the second page of Pornhub to see
Pornhub is worldwide, I guess.
I think what's acceptable in Romania is like a fetish section in the US.
Interesting. Interesting.
But anyway, I just hope you come back here.
I will.
Really hope you come back here.
I will.
We won't afford to pay your plane ticket, but if you ever get another movie gig here,
I'm looking to do.
We will have to sell that
the whole
refrigerator with the. We have to sell these IKEA tables made from our food, from our wood, not our food.
Well, I'm looking to do later this year like a proper tour, like an official proper tour.
Please do, because we are poor and in need with entertainment. Because otherwise we have to
you bring up
take down the political.
You bring up an interesting point, because it's like. The U.S. is a capitalist country, and it's very, money. That's all anyone thinks about.
Yes.
And stand-up comedy is an art form.
Yes.
But the people who run the business, it's a business. They don't view it as an art form. So it's like you might want to go to a certain place and do a show, and they'll be like, no, your fee's this much, and you're like, there's no fucking way this place.
The people, you're a surprise for the people tonight. You're a surprise. So we bring you tonight, and it was a very nice attitude.
Yeah,
it was a very nice. Oh my God, that's.
They were a great crowd, and you guys have a nice room. It's well designed.
What we're talking about is this: whenever you come to this part of Europe, you have to do it because you want the experience of it. The money is not that bad. I mean, listen, just for you, you live in New York, right?
Yeah.
New York is fucking renownedly expensive, right? It's like
it sucks.
Okay.
Worse than ever.
But still, if you could say I made $1,000 playing Bucharest for one night.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't say I got fucked, right? It's $1,000, right? Even for a New Yorker,
$1,000.
it's $1,000. It's a grand. It's a grand, right? It's a grand.
Yeah.
You got a grand for playing. We can get you easily.
$1,000.
We don't have to do the deal on the podcast.
As I was talking, I was like that.
We just want to
fucking close the camera.
I don't do
stop it.
I don't get into the money stuff.
but
there's also some cities around Romania, some countries that also you can tie up.
Bulgaria is great. Serbia is great.
I actually did Sofia, and it was really nice.
Cool.
Budapest.
It was
cool.
Hungary is really good.
No, I'm looking at
we can really get a.
Oh, I know.
And the money. Okay, let's discuss the details off camera. But still, you won't come here and do several shows like Serbia, Bulgaria, Bucharest, Hungary, and go home going like, fuck it, I didn't get a
house here.
Come on.
If we don't pay, we will.
Okay, let's
bring some dogs home.
Or just a dog.
We'll pay you in dogs.
I love the dogs.
We will pay you 10,000 dogs.
We will pay you.
No, that was impressive when I first saw the dogs, man. Because I remember I was driving.
That's how the lions came to Romania.
And right now it's pretty light on the dogs.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
Well, I was out in Bufta and another town where there was, and I was
they
like,
moved them
first
there.
I just see them just walking around, and I'm like, first I was thinking, oh, I guess some people, they just let them out. You don't have to walk on. Then some people tell me, no, they're. They don't live there. They don't have a home,
you, like,
so.
Oh, what are you doing, Apo? Hey, what are you doing here?
I thought they were very friendly all the time.
Yeah, it's very friendly.
Yeah, really nice. Yeah.
Yeah. They are great.
I like dogs.
Not that much.
It depends.
Yeah.
It depends on the hour of the night.
We could go into a racist analogy, but we won't. So if you saw them as friendly, they were friendly.
Well, yeah, the ones I
Yes,
saw
they
were.
were supporting one team of the.
Yep. Anyway, Judah,
thanks so much, man.
Yeah, man.
thanks, man.
Thank you.
It was
Fun
really
stuff,
nice, man.
man.
It was great
Very cool.
seeing you on stage.
Keep doing your thing, guys, and keep.
Thank you, man.
I think it's exciting.
Yeah, man.
And I talked to you on Twitter, I think, or no? Okay, then I did not. Yeah.
Twitter is dead in Romania.
I actually still use Twitter. I actually still use.
Do you guys
Twitter.
use Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter? The most?
Instagram, Facebook, Twitter.
Facebook has close to 10 million users.
Yeah.
Instagram has like 1 million users, and Twitter does not exist.
I think it
Interesting.
Yeah,
Twitter is this guy.
Yeah,
he's the
I'm
Romanian
like the
Twitter.
first or second person in Romania that actually used Twitter.
Yeah,
and he's actually one of two people.
Cool.
Yeah.
One of two people who use Twitter.
Yes, in the U.S., Facebook isn't as popular as.
It's going down.
We
It's
know.
going down. Rightfully so. It's going down. But in Romania, Twitter is not going up.
Yeah.
So, fuck it. But if you want to come to a tour of Eastern Europe, we're here, man. And we have several cities that are waiting for you. Some of them will be commenting on this, and
I'm ready.
We'll be doing it, man.
As the world champion, that's what I do.
Man.
I travel the world.
We're so glad.
You're just bringing the world to the world, right?
That's what I do.
The champion to the world.
The champion to the world, man. Thank you so much.
I'm not good at anything, but this guy's is.
Yeah.
This guy's is.
But no, thanks, man. This was fun shit.
Let him end it, man. Let him end it.
No, just thanks for watching and listening, and thank you guys for being so warm and welcoming. Your wife works at this restaurant where she creates these amazing dishes, and
you ate the burgers, right?
It was incredible, very creative.
True shit, man. True
shit.
My wife is alive.
Yeah.
He felt the need to plug his wife also. She's alive and pregnant with
She's
their
alive with
third child.
with a lot of children.
So, but my wife makes
the food that she created and made.
You people, man.
The food she created and made was not just delicious; it was very creative, and everything blended and worked together. And that should be an inspiration for comedy. So.
Hey!
Belinda Teohari. Very nice.
Also, Irina Bojok. Blending the third child into the...
Also, my wife.
My wife. My wife. Please, take my wife.
Yeah.
Take my wife, man. Take my wife.
She does a great blowjob. Probably.
We have women.
Probably right now.
That I don't know. I don't know on that one. Cool.
Definitely. Sper că să fie imediat după Bobonete să fie asta. Ca numărul de vizualizări.
Do you know what's funny? We don't have the tech here, so nobody knows how to end this.
No, yeah. We don't have the tech is there.
You just take level ears off.
Yeah, definitely.
Thank you, Judah.
Thank you, man.